Good morning, class 8. I hope you all are doing fine. So, students, we are very near to finishing our syllabus for PT1, isn't it? And that is why yesterday we began with lesson number 3, which is your last lesson remaining to complete your PT1 syllabus. So, students, we were doing Ruling the Countryside from your history textbook. And yesterday, what we discussed, we will recapitulate today quickly. So, I told you yesterday that in the year 1765, the then Mughal emperor appointed the East India Company as the Diwan of Bengal. And as the Diwan of Bengal was now the company, that is why the East India Company became the chief financial administrator of the territory. Now, the financial situations, the financial give and take was to be decided by the company. Okay, so the company learned that since it was an alien power, it was an outside power, therefore it needed to be at peace with those people who ruled the villages, because most of the revenues were to be collected by land in the villages. That is why the British East India Company thought of dealing well with the villagers. So, as far as revenue for the company is concerned, then at the very beginning, the company did not take much effort to change the land revenue system. Okay, they just began to increase the revenue or the tax as much as they could, and within 5 years of them getting the Diwani, the value of goods that were brought by the company in Bengal, in India, doubled. So before, if they would sell a cotton cloth for 10 rupees, now it would become rupees 20. So in 5 years' time, which is very short, the goods that were brought to India by finishing it in the factories in England, the price was raised a lot, and because of this the people of Bengal were facing a lot of problem. So there were financial crisis in Bengal, and many people had to leave their villages and go away somewhere because they could not afford to pay things like this. Okay, they could not afford to pay this materials that were brought in by the British. And also, to add to all their sadness, in 1770 a terrible famine attacked them, and in Bengal 10 million people died. So it was really a sad situation in Bengal at that time. So the British company believed that now, in order to bring back the glory of Bengal, it is very necessary to bring about changes in the agricultural sector. So Lord Cornwallis, who was the Governor General of India in the 1790s, introduced a new kind of a system which is known as the permanent settlement in 1793. So according to the system of permanent settlement, the terms of the settlement was that the Rajas, or the local rulers, and who were also known as talukdars, they were recognized as zamindars. Zamindars means the owners of the land, and the main duty of the zamindar was to collect rent, collect money from the peasants of their area. And by collecting money from the peasants, they had to pay a revenue to the company, and the revenue was very high, and at the same time it was fixed. Okay, but there was problem with this permanent settlement issue. So the problem is that the British officials discovered that the zamindars were not interested in improving the land, and the revenue that was fixed was so high that even the zamindars, after collecting all the rent from the farmers, could not pay it to the British. And if the zamindars failed to pay the money to the British, in that case the zamindars lost their job. Alright, so the zamindars did not do much in order to bring about a change in the land revenue system. But there were some people, some zamindars, who had some interest in improving the land. But of course, because of the large revenue that was fixed by the government, it was difficult for the zamindars to do the work as assigned to them. Again, the villagers or the cultivators, they were extremely oppressed through this system of permanent settlement, because the rent that the zamindars demanded from the peasants, that was really high, and if they were unable to pay the money to the zamindar on time, then their land rights were taken away. Okay, so in order to get money and in order to pay to the zamindar on time, they had to keep on taking money from the moneylanders. And if they by any chance failed to pay back the money on time to the moneylanders, then their land was taken away by those moneylanders. So students, at that time, the British thought of devising a new policy, and they tried to come up with a new system which is called as the permanent settlement, but of course they could not succeed much. So that is why in the 19th century, somewhere in the 1820s, it was decided to now introduce another new system. Okay, because it was not enough to just keep on just keep on expecting things to change through one system. So now the experimentation by the British began, and therefore in the 19th century a new system was devised. So in the northwestern provinces of Bengal, that means if you take the map of Bengal, not the present one, during the British, the northwestern provinces, there, an Englishman called as Holt Mackenzie, he devised a new system, and that new system was known as the Mahalwari settlement. So Holt Mackenzie believed that if this system is introduced properly and exercised properly, then the village can serve as an important source of revenue. So let us see what steps Mackenzie took to devise this new system. So Mackenzie, he believes that the village was a very important social institution, and therefore the culture and traditions of the villagers need to be preserved. Okay, so therefore under his direction, all the collectors means the people who had the right to collect money, who were the officers at that time under whom the zamindars would give the money. So the collectors, they were sent by Mackenzie from village to village. They started inspecting the land. They started measuring how much land the peasants have, and they also tried to understand the customs and traditions of the various groups in that village. So the revenue that was estimated for each plot within a village was calculated, and the revenue that each village had to pay was fixed. That means after going through the entire village, after measuring the field, after recording the customs and rights of different groups, after inspecting the land, the revenue for each plot of land within the village was added up. Okay, and finally they calculated the revenue that each village had to pay. In other words, a single village did not have only a single plot of land for cultivation, isn't it? So in a village there were small plots of villagers. So Mackenzie instructed his officers to go to those plots and to measure everything properly so that adequate amount of rent can be collected. So each plot had to pay a sum of money according to their need, and then after adding up all the revenue, all the rent that is got by the plot, a village had to pay a particular amount. Like for example, there are 10 plots in my village. So from my village, they will take rupees 10 from each plot. Are you getting my point? So 10 into 10, if you add it, 10 rupees into 10 villages, it comes to 100. So my village will have to pay the British a sum of rupees 100. Did you understand? So this demand was not fixed. The amount that was collected through each plot was not fixed. This year, if they are collecting 10 rupees from each plot, maybe next year when they come for inspection, they might increase it to 15. Are you getting my point? So this charge of collecting the revenue and paying it to the company was given to the village headman. So now there were no system of zamindars. The village headman, the Gaon Budha as we say, that headman was now responsible to collect the revenue from each plot, and together, after calculating it, after summing it up, it was to give it to the official, the British officers. So this system proved to be effective in north-western province of Bengal, and it came to be known as the Mahalwari system. Okay, so this system is very simple. I'll repeat again. In my village, 10 plots of land, and from 10 plots, 10 rupees. This has to pay 10, this has to pay 10, this has to pay 10, this has to pay 10. Okay, so 10 into 10, 100. So in my village, the total amount that the headman will collect is rupees 100, and this 100 rupees will be given to the British company. So this is the Mahalwari system. Okay. So, and remember, the amount was not fixed like the permanent settlement. The amount kept on changing according to the increase in production. All right. So this is all about the Mahalwari system. So this was about Bengal. What about the South? So in South, the idea of permanent settlement was introduced, but it was not called as permanent settlement. Instead of permanent settlement, there was another system running in South India, in the Madras province, which came to be known as the Rayatwari system. Okay, so this Rayatwari system was practiced in a very small scale, and it was practiced first by Captain Alexander Reed. Okay, only in some areas where the territories were taken over by the company after they defeated Tipu Sultan. So this system, which was introduced by Alexander Reed, was later on developed by Thomas Munro. So this system was gradually extended all over South India, and this system came to be known as the Rayatwari system or the Munro system. Okay, so Reed and Munro, the two very important people, British officials, they felt that in South India there were no zamindars, as in Bengal. Okay, that is why the settlement had to be made directly with the ryots. Okay, so since there were no zamindars in South, therefore the taxes that the British collected was to be collected from the cultivators themselves, and the cultivators were known as ryots. Therefore, perhaps this system came to be known as the Rayatwari system. Okay, so according to this system, the fields were carefully read, they were separately surveyed, properly, informations were collected, and then revenue was fixed. And this revenue was not given by the zamindars, it was collected and given by the farmers directly to the company. Clear? So this was the Rayatwari or the Munro system. But was it very easy for these systems to be accepted by the people? Definitely not. That is why the topic that we are reading now is all was not well. So within a few years after the various new systems were imposed, it was clear that these systems were not working properly. Okay, so the British kept on increasing the income from the land. The revenue that was collected by the officials were too high. The peasants were unable to pay the money on time. The farmers or the ryots, they had to leave their country, run away from their own country, and the villages became empty in most of the regions. So although the British thought that bringing in the Mahalwari system, bringing in the Rayatwari system, changing the system of land revenue would do a great thing to them, but actually they did not do a very good change. Positive things were not being seen. Peasants were the most depressed people at that time. So students, since all was not well, so the experiment of collecting taxes, of collecting revenue, of changing land settlements, etc., kept on changing from time to time. So therefore the British now started thinking in another line. Okay, so what they started thinking next, we will discuss on Monday. So Monday we will begin with the topic crops for Europe. But as of today, I hope you all are very clear about the two systems that we studied, about the Rayatwari system and the Mahalwari system. So I'll be assigning you few questions as homework once you watch this video. So after you read the textbook, whatever we have done till now, after you read it through your textbook, ensure that you write the answers of the questions that I'll give you now properly, and if you have any doubt you can ask me. Okay, so thank you so much, dear students. We will meet again on Monday.